My SIL tried to sabotage my career out of jealousy, so I refused to attend her baby shower. Now my husband says I'm tearing the family apart. I, F29, have been married to my husband Kenneth, M31, for 5 years. We met in college through mutual friends and hit it off immediately. Kenneth was studying business while I was pursuing computer science. We bonded over our shared love of video games and obscure sci-fi movies. After graduation, we moved in together and got married a year later. It was a small, intimate ceremony, just how we wanted it. Kenneth comes from a tight-knit family. His parents are still happily married after 35 years, and he has an older sister, Megan, F33. When I first met them, they seemed warm and welcoming. Kenneth's mom, Linda, was always trying to feed me, and his dad, Tom, would crack jokes to make me feel at ease. Megan, however, was a different story. From the beginning, Megan and I never really clicked. She's very outgoing and social, always the life of the party. I'm more introverted and prefer smaller gatherings. Megan works in marketing and is constantly talking about her high-profile clients and lavish work events. She has a large circle of friends and is always posting on social media about her exciting life. I, on the other hand, am a software developer. I work long hours but find my job fulfilling. I have a small group of close friends that I've known since high school. We get together for board game nights or low-key dinners. It's not glamorous, but it makes me happy. Megan never seemed to understand or respect my lifestyle choices. She was always making comments about how I should get out more or live a little. At family gatherings, she'd loudly talk about her latest vacation or work achievement, then turn to me with a pitying look and ask, "So, still working on computers?" I tried to brush it off at first. I figured she was just different from me and didn't mean any harm. But as time went on, her comments became more pointed and frequent. She'd suggest that Kenneth must be bored with our Netflix and chill lifestyle. Once, she even implied that my career choice was holding Kenneth back from attending more networking events. Kenneth would always defend me, telling Megan to back off. But he also downplayed her behavior, saying she was just being Megan and didn't mean anything by it. I felt like he didn't fully understand how much her words hurt me. Things came to a head about 6 months ago. My company was hiring for a new marketing position, and Megan applied. She asked me to put in a good word for her, saying it would be so fun to work together. I was hesitant because I didn't think she'd be a good fit culturally, but I agreed to pass along her resume as a courtesy to keep the peace. Megan ended up getting an interview but didn't get the job. The hiring manager told me privately that while she had good experience, she came across as overconfident and didn't seem to mesh well with the team's more collaborative style. Ever since then, Megan has been really cold towards me. She stopped inviting me to family gatherings and would barely acknowledge me when we did see each other. I figured she was just disappointed about not getting the job and tried not to take it personally. Last month, I found out I was being considered for a big promotion at work. It would mean leading my own team and a significant pay raise. I was thrilled and told Kenneth, but asked him not to mention it to anyone else yet since it wasn't finalized. I wanted to wait until it was official before sharing the news. A few days later, my boss called me into his office looking upset. He said he'd received an anonymous email claiming I had been sharing confidential company information with my sister-in-law to help her get hired. The email included screenshots of what looked like work emails I'd sent, discussing proprietary projects and client information. I was shocked and had no idea what he was talking about. As we went through the emails, it became clear that someone had taken bits and pieces of legitimate work emails I'd sent and doctored them to make it look like I was leaking info. My boss said he wanted to believe me, but the situation had cast doubt on my judgment and discretion. He said they were going to have to put the promotion on hold while they investigated further. I left his office feeling sick to my stomach. I knew immediately that Megan must have been behind this. She was the only one who knew about the potential promotion and had access to my work email. I remembered leaving my laptop open at a family dinner once while I went to help with dishes. Megan had been sitting nearby and I hadn't thought anything of it at the time. When I got home, I confronted Megan over the phone. She denied everything, acting offended that I would accuse her of something like that. But I could hear the smug tone in her voice. She was enjoying this. I told Kenneth what happened and he was appalled. He tried talking to Megan, but she played dumb and acted hurt that we would think she was capable of such a thing. Kenneth said he believed me, but also that we had no concrete proof it was her. He urged me to let it go for the sake of family harmony, saying that accusing Megan without evidence would only cause more problems. I was livid. This woman had tried to sabotage my career, something I'd worked incredibly hard for. And now I was supposed to just forget about it? I told Kenneth I wanted nothing to do with Megan going forward. I couldn't trust her and didn't want to be around someone who would stoop so low out of jealousy. Kenneth reluctantly agreed, but asked me to reconsider for big family events. He said it would break his parents' hearts if I stopped coming around altogether. I told him I'd think about it, but made no promises. Fast forward to now, Megan just announced she's pregnant and is having a baby shower next month. Kenneth's mom called me to RSVP and was shocked when I said I wasn't planning to attend. She said I was being petty and needed to put aside my silly feud with Megan. When I tried explaining what had happened, she cut me off and said she didn't want to hear it. In her eyes, nothing was more important than family unity. Now Kenneth is upset with me too. He says I'm being unreasonable and this issue with Megan has gone on long enough. He thinks I should be the bigger person and go to the shower to keep the peace. He says Megan is family and will always be in our lives, so I need to find a way to get along with her. I told him absolutely not. I refuse to celebrate someone who tried to destroy my career. Megan faced zero consequences for what she did, and now I'm supposed to pretend like nothing happened? I don't trust her at all and have no desire to be around her, pregnant or not. Kenneth says I'm tearing the family apart and need to get over it. He accused me of being selfish and said I was putting him in an impossible position between his wife and his sister. But I don't think I'm in the wrong here. Why should I have to compromise my principles and integrity to make everyone else comfortable? I'm at a loss for what to do. Part of me wants to stand my ground and refuse to go to the shower or any other family events where Megan will be present. Another part of me wonders if I'm overreacting and should try to move past this for Kenneth's sake. But every time I think about facing Megan and acting like everything is fine, I feel sick to my stomach. So Reddit, AET for refusing to go to my sister-in-law's baby shower? Should I suck it up for family harmony or stand my ground? Am I letting this situation get blown out of proportion, or am I justified in wanting to cut Megan out of my life? I could really use some outside perspective here. Update 1. Thank you all for the overwhelming response to my original post. Reading through the comments really helped reinforce that I'm not crazy for feeling this way. It gave me the courage to have a difficult but necessary conversation with Kenneth. Last night, after dinner, I sat Kenneth down and laid everything out. I started from the beginning. How Megan had always made me feel inferior and unwelcome in the family. I reminded him of specific instances. The time she loudly proclaimed at Thanksgiving that my job must be so boring. The backhanded compliments about how brave I was to wear certain outfits with my body type. The constant pushing for us to socialize more. I explained how hurtful it was that he had always downplayed Megan's behavior. I understood she was his sister, but I needed him to understand how her actions affected me. The work sabotage wasn't an isolated incident. It was the culmination of years of subtle put-downs and jealousy. Kenneth was quiet for a long time after I finished talking. Then he surprised me by apologizing. He admitted that he had always downplayed Megan's behavior because it was easier than confronting her. Growing up, Megan had always been the golden child, while Kenneth was more laid back. He was used to giving in to keep the peace. He realized how unfair that was to me and said he was sorry for not having my back more. We talked for hours, diving into childhood stories and family dynamics I had never fully understood before. Kenneth opened up about feeling overshadowed by Megan his whole life. He said he had always envied my close relationship with my siblings and wished his family could be more like that. By the end of our conversation, we agreed that Kenneth would talk to his parents and explain the full situation. He said he was done protecting Megan at my expense. He also decided it was time to confront Megan directly about what she had done. The next morning, Kenneth called his parents. It went about as well as expected at first. His mom was in denial, insisting Megan would never do something like that. She tried to suggest that maybe I had misunderstood the situation or was being overly sensitive. But Kenneth stood firm and laid out all the evidence. He told them about the years of snide comments and put-downs I had endured. By the end of the call, his mom was in tears and said she needed time to process everything. His dad was quieter, but said he was disappointed in Megan's behavior. After that difficult conversation, Kenneth called Megan. He told her he knew what she had done and was disgusted by her actions. Megan tried to deny it at first, but Kenneth didn't let up. He said he had concrete proof. A bluff, but Megan didn't know that. And that if she didn't come clean, he would go to her work and tell them what she had done. Faced with the potential consequences, Megan finally broke down and admitted it. She said she was jealous of my career success and let her emotions get the best of her. She tried to justify it by saying she never thought it would actually affect my job. She just wanted to scare me a little. Kenneth told her that her behavior was inexcusable and that she needed to make things right. A few hours later, I got a long email from Megan. She apologized profusely for trying to sabotage my job and said she felt awful about it. She admitted to years of resentment and jealousy towards me that she had never dealt with properly. She said she had always felt insecure around me, that my quiet confidence made her feel like she had to be louder and more impressive to get attention. She said she wanted to make amends, but understood if I wasn't ready to forgive her. I'm still processing everything and haven't responded yet. Part of me appreciates that she finally owned up to it, but a bigger part feels like this apology is too little too late. The damage to my career has already been done. I'm not sure I can ever trust her again after this. Kenneth says he'll support whatever I decide regarding my relationship with Megan going forward. He's relieved the truth is finally out, but sad about the wedge this has driven in the family. His mom keeps calling to apologize for not believing me initially, and for allowing Megan's behavior to go unchecked for so long. I'm definitely still not going to the baby shower. That bridge has been burned, but I'm considering meeting up with Megan one-on-one to hash things out, with Kenneth there as a buffer. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive her fully, but I think clearing the air might help me move past some of this anger and resentment. For now, I'm taking things one day at a time. I'm focusing on my work and trying not to let this situation derail the progress I've made in my career. Kenneth and I are looking into couples counseling to work through some of the trust issues this has brought up. It feels like a positive step towards rebuilding our relationship and presenting a united front. I'm grateful for Kenneth finally standing up for me, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't still hurt that it took something this extreme for him to see the truth. We have a lot of work to do in our marriage, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Thank you all again for the advice and support. It really helped me find the courage to stand up for myself and demand the respect I deserve. I'll post another update after I decide what to do about Megan's apology and if we end up meeting in person. Update 2. It's been a few weeks since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have progressed. After much deliberation, I decided to meet up with Megan to talk things through. Kenneth came with me for support, and we met at a neutral coffee shop. The atmosphere was tense when we first sat down. Megan looked nervous and tried to make small talk, commenting on the cafe's decor and asking about work. I cut to the chase and asked her to explain her actions in her own words. Megan broke down crying almost immediately. Between sobs, she talked about always feeling insecure around me. She said that from the moment Kenneth introduced us, she felt threatened. In her words, I was smart, pretty, and had a real career, while she felt like she was just playing at being an adult. She admitted to years of passive-aggressive behavior, saying she thought if she could make me feel small, she would feel better about herself. The job sabotage, she said, was a moment of weakness where her jealousy took over. She claimed she never thought it would actually impact my career. She just wanted to shake my confidence. I listened to her explanation but didn't offer much sympathy. I told her how much her actions had hurt me, both professionally and personally. I explained that her prank had real consequences for my career that I'm still dealing with. My boss is still wary of me, and I feel like I'm constantly having to prove myself at work. Megan listened and seemed genuinely remorseful. She said she had started therapy to work on her insecurity and jealousy issues. She talked about realizing how toxic her behavior had been, not just towards me, but in many of her relationships. While I appreciate her taking steps to change, I made it clear that our relationship will never be the same. I told her I need space and time to heal. We agreed to be civil at family gatherings, but nothing more for now. Kenneth was supportive throughout the conversation. He told Megan that her behavior was unacceptable and that she had broken his trust too. He said he hopes she continues to work on herself, but that she shouldn't expect things to go back to normal anytime soon. After the meeting, I felt a mix of emotions. There was some relief at finally getting everything out in the open, but I also felt drained and a little sad. It's hard to accept that someone I once considered family could hurt me so deeply. Work is still a challenge. My boss is giving me more responsibilities again, but I know the promotion opportunity is gone for now. I'm trying to rebuild trust with my colleagues, many of whom heard rumors about the incident. It's frustrating to feel like I'm starting over when I did nothing wrong. Kenneth and I are doing better. He's been much more supportive and understanding. We started couples counseling to work through some of the trust issues this situation brought up. It's been helpful to have a neutral third party to talk things through with. I'm still not attending the baby shower, but I did send a small gift, just a onesie and a card. It felt like the right thing to do. A small olive branch without compromising my boundaries. Megan sent a thank you note that seemed genuine. We're taking baby steps towards civility. Kenneth's parents have been reaching out more, especially his mom. She keeps apologizing and asking what she can do to make things right. I appreciate the sentiment, but it's going to take time to rebuild that relationship too. For now, I'm focusing on my own healing and growth. I'm looking into taking some advanced coding classes to boost my resume. Kenneth and I are planning a weekend getaway to reconnect and distress. It's been a difficult few months, but I finally feel like I'm coming out the other side. Thank you all again for the advice and support. It's been invaluable in helping me navigate this complex situation. I'll post another update if anything significant changes. Update 3. It's been about 6 months since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have progressed. A lot has changed in that time, both personally and professionally. The biggest news is that I ended up leaving my job. Despite my boss's assurances that things were fine, I could tell the incident had affected how people saw me at work. There were whispers when I walked by, and I felt like I was constantly being watched. It was exhausting trying to prove myself every day. I started putting out feelers and ended up getting an offer from a competitor. Better pay, more responsibilities, and most importantly, a fresh start. It was scary to leave my comfort zone, but it's been the best decision I could have made. My new team is fantastic, and I'm working on exciting projects that challenge me. I feel valued and respected in a way I hadn't at my old job in a long time. The change has done wonders for my confidence and overall happiness. As for Megan, we've maintained a cordial but distant relationship. She had her baby, a little girl named Emma, about 2 months ago. I sent a gift but didn't attend the shower or visit at the hospital. Kenneth goes to see his niece regularly, and I'm fine with that. He understands why I'm not ready to be involved and doesn't pressure me. Megan has continued with therapy and seems to be making progress. She sent me a heartfelt letter on my birthday, apologizing again for her past behavior and expressing hope that we might someday repair our relationship. I appreciated the gesture, but I'm not there yet. Maybe someday. But for now, I'm comfortable with our polite distance. The family dynamics have shifted quite a bit. Kenneth's parents have been much more respectful of my boundaries. They no longer pressure me to attend every family event or smooth things over with Megan. I think they finally understand the gravity of what happened. Kenneth's mom even reached out to apologize for her initial reaction and thanked me for giving them a chance to make things right. Kenneth and I are doing well. The couple's counseling has been incredibly helpful. We've worked through a lot of issues, not just related to the Megan situation, but other underlying problems in our communication. Kenneth's become much better at standing up for me and setting boundaries with his family. It feels like we're truly partners now, facing challenges together instead of me feeling like I'm on my own. We're talking about starting a family of our own soon. It's both exciting and a little scary. I worry sometimes about how having a baby will change the family dynamics again, especially with Megan. But Kenneth assures me that our child will always come first, and that we'll navigate those waters together when the time comes. I've been doing a lot of personal growth work too. I've started practicing meditation and journaling to help process my emotions. I've also been making an effort to expand my social circle, joining a local tech meetup group and taking a pottery class. It's been nice to have outlets and connections outside of work and family drama. Overall, I feel like I've come out of this situation stronger. I've learned a lot about standing up for myself and not compromising my values for the sake of keeping the peace. While the experience was painful, it led to positive changes in my career and relationships that I'm grateful for. I still have moments of anger or sadness when I think about what happened, but those moments are becoming less frequent and less intense. I'm focusing on building the life and career I want, surrounded by people who truly support and respect me. I don't know what the future holds in terms of my relationship with Megan. For now, I'm content with our limited contact. If she continues to show growth and change, maybe we can work towards a more positive relationship down the line. But I'm no longer willing to sacrifice my own well-being for the sake of family harmony. Thank you all again for your support throughout this journey. Your advice and encouragement helped me navigate a really difficult situation and come out the other side. I'm grateful for this community and the perspective it's given me. Here's to continuing to grow and thrive, whatever challenges life throws our way.